Hello everybody out there watching on YouTube, and welcome to race number 5 of Season 6 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I'm Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Tropicana Challenge here at Pensacola International Speedway, the Roval portion, where we're getting set for 9 laps of racing here at this 5.3 mile road course slash Roval that we're running here this season. Now, before we take a look at the starting lineup, let's take a look at the point standings as they look coming into the race today. So, after last week at Atlanta, Cole Deaver still leads the points, but by 1 point over Matt McIntyre. Third is Jonathan Zorline. Fourth is Joshua Sekuli. Fifth, Tim Viegel. Sixth, James Qualls. Seventh, Michael Norman. Eighth, Jake Baskinger. Ninth, Cody Lamas. And then 10th is Phil Parker. So that is a look at the top 10 and the points coming into the race today. But let's look at the starting lineup. Starting in the last row is Joey Parkhill and DJ Curtis. Top 10, however, James McLeod is on the pole for today, and starting next to him is Rafael Leduc. Row 2 will be comprised of Jay Jefferson and Bradley Zordrager, who won at Atlanta last week. Row 3, Kyle Matthews and Anthony McCrory. Row 4, James Shelley, Cole Deaver. And then row 5, Joshua Collard and Melissa Alexander. With that said, let's get the command to fire engines for the Tropicana Challenge at the Pensacola Roval.
Drivers, start your engines.
All 40 drivers rolling to get to the start-finish line to get this race underway. Now, my recollection of when we ran this Roval last season, we actually had one of the better road course races during Season 4, so I'm hoping we can, or actually Season 5, excuse me. But hopefully we could see more of the same here today. And also, to throw a little monkey wrench into the works, there could be pit strategy going on in this race, because after all, the wear is set to ×3, 9 laps, and it takes about a good 2.5 minutes to get around this place, as there's a little bit of a log jam back here, and already somebody's gotten some damage. Let me actually look and see if I can find any cars with scrapes. And I'm not finding anybody, but I saw a little bit of debris back there. But nonetheless, we're going to get this race going on schedule anyways. After all, no cautions at road course tracks. But as I was saying, yeah, we could see some pit strategy happen in this race, considering the wear is set to 3 times. And it takes a good 2.5 minutes to get around this racetrack. 5.3 miles in length. Excuse me. For the Roval portion. As I believe the pace car has pulled in the pit road. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. It's time to boogity 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 go racing. Rafael Leduc was the one to lead the first lap, but now he's about to get passed by a couple of cars. James Shelley, who actually, if I recall, last time we ran the Roval here at Pensacola, he won. So, and he's already up here to the front, but Dylan Young, who on the first lap coming into this, in the turn 3 here, made a huge move of 3 wide to get up to second, and now running that same lane to try and take the lead from James Shelley. Can he actually get clear of him, though? Doesn't quite make it happen because it's going to be side by side when we get to this corner, but now Dylan Young takes the top spot on the racetrack. Now, the unique thing about the Pensacola Roval as compared to other Rovals or road courses is that this is a restrictor plate track, so the first 2 corners, turns 1 and 2, and then the final 2 corners are both, are all restrictor plate racing oriented, so you could get a draft on somebody in front of you, gain momentum going into the first corner of the Roval portion in order to gain an advantage. Which is why the Pensacola Roval is one of the more unique road courses we go to on the schedule. Down this little straightaway is James Shelley trailing Dylan Young just by a little bit, and we'll see what happens with these two whenever they get into turns 1 and 2 or actually coming up into these following corners as they get back onto the regular racetrack. And we're getting ready to get back onto the normal racetrack now. Dylan Young gets out ahead and first, but Shelley right there behind the two. And then a little further back, Jay Jefferson and Rafael Leduc. And Leduc led the first lap, and now Dylan Young right now up at the front. But look at Shelley right to the back bumper of the two. And now the 71 going to go down low. But it looks like the two will lead this lap. But will the 71 get a run on the bottom going into turn 1 here? Not quite, but that's helping to reel in the 87 of Jay Jefferson. Look at the run he's got. He might be able to make it. He is going to make it 3 wide going off of 2 here. And then going into turn 3 to enter into the Roval. But look at Rafael Leduc do the same thing. It's going to be 3 wide for the lead. Jefferson, Leduc, and Shelley. Leduc couldn't quite carry the speed going into the corner right there, and that helped for Jay Jefferson to take the spot. So the 87 of Jay Jefferson now with the race lead, but James Shelley still in second after all that. As we're getting close to being a third of the way done with this race, let's see how the top 10 looks right now. As currently standing, Jay Jefferson is the race leader. Second is James Shelley. Third is Dylan Young. Fourth, Joshua Collard. Fifth, Rafael Leduc. Sixth is Carson Gumbs. Seventh is Kyle Matthews. Eighth is Cole Dever. Ninth is Melissa Alexander. And then 10th is Emmanuel Hartnett. 11th right now is Anthony McCrory. 12th currently is Dylan Jacobs. 13th, James Qualls. 14th, Bradley Zordrager. 15th, James McLeod. 16th, Benjamin Miles. 17th, Jake Baskinger. 18th, Rob Evans. 19th, Joshua Sekuli. And then 20th currently is Charles Sanford. 21st, Zachary Fitzwater. 22nd, Jordan Forbes. Or battle for 22nd between Jordan Forbes, Jonathan Zorline. 24th is Jake Rogers. 25th, Michael Norman. 26th, Caleb Kilburn. 27th, Cole Baker. 28th right now, Jessica Shelton. 29th, Seth Cole. 30th, Dylan Poteet. 31st, Cody Lamas. 32nd, Joey Parkhill. 33rd, Phil Parker. 34th, Trent Dunham. 35th, DJ Curtis. Currently the bottom 5, 36th Logan Bradley, 37th Tim Fiegel, 38th Johnny Gardner, 39th Chris Dollerton, 40th Matt McIntyre. And some cars are coming in the pit road, so it looks like it's going to be a 2-stop race for these drivers, as majority of the field came into the pits, but I don't know, maybe Dylan Jacobs has the race lead now. I would assume he has the race lead now, as everybody's trying to get on and off pit road, and the first car to come out is James Shelley, and then Jay Jefferson, Dylan Young, looks like Kyle Matthews, and then Anthony McCrory out of the first group of cars. And then we've only got, it looks like, 5 cars that have yet to come in. These guys are looking to try and stretch out their fuel tanks in hopes that they can get up to the front by the end of the race whenever they have to pit one more time with just a few laps to go. So right now it's Dylan Jacobs leading, then Michael Norman, Cody Lamas, Jessica Sheldon, Johnny Gardner, the top 5. Chris Dollerton being the last one to get out of the pits of the majority of the field that came in. But I don't know, this strategy could make or break Dylan Jacobs in hopes of winning this race, because of the fact that he stayed out a lap longer than the majority of the field. I couldn't quite tell if there was some damage on the driver's side of the 83. No, there isn't. I thought I saw a scrape or two on that car, but I guess I was just seeing stuff. I was looking around the field to see how everyone was running, if there was any wrecks or not. But let's see if the 78's coming in the pit road this time, and he is. What about the rest of the field? And yes, they are coming in. And then what about Johnny Gardner? He's coming in as well. So now the whole field has come into pit road for this race. And Dylan Jacobs does get credited for leading that lap. So this strategy, I don't know, it's going to be a very close call for some of these guys. If maybe they could stay out an extra lap and only pit this one time, I don't know. Things are going to get interesting whenever we get further down in the race. But here comes the rest of the field starting to cycle back around. Let's see if the 71's going to be able to keep the lead. Oh, I think he's going to get it, and indeed he will. So the 71 of James Shelley cycles back around to the race lead. Imagine this. Last season, it was the 71 that won the Pensacola Roval. He's trying to go 2 seasons in a row winning at the Pensacola Roval. That would be quite the impressive stat for James Shelley to win 2 years in a row at this same track, the Roval portion at least. But it ain't coming without a challenge, because here comes Dylan Young and Jay Jefferson to try and make a run for the 71. So now the field as it stands, after the pit stops have occurred, James Shelley with the race lead. Second is Dylan Young. Third is Jay Jefferson. Fourth, Kyle Matthews. Fifth, Anthony McCrory. Sixth now, Dylan Jacobs. Seventh is, I believe that's Emmanuel Hartnett. Indeed it is. In seventh? Yeah, seventh. Eighth, Melissa Alexander. Ninth, Cody Lamas. 10th, Rafael Leduc. 11th now is James Qualls. 12th, Michael Norman. 13th, Carson Gump. 14th, Zachary Fitzwater. 15th, Benjamin Miles. 16th, Rob Evans, 17th Jordan Forbes, 18th Jessica Sheldon, 19th Bradley Zordrager, 20th Jake Baskinger. 21st is Joshua Collard, 22nd is Jake Rogers, 23rd is Cole Deaver, 24th Jonathan Zorling, 25th Cole Baker, 26th is Joshua Sakuli, 27th is Charles Sanford, 28th Caleb Kilburn, 29th DJ Curtis, 30th is Seth Cole. 31st, Johnny Gardner. 32nd, Dylan Poteet. 33rd, Joey Parkhill. 34th, James McLeod. Man, ever since the drop of the green flag, he has sank like a rock. I believe I said 34th. And then 35th, I believe, is Phil Parker. 36th is Logan Bradley. 37th, Trent Dunham. 38th, Tim Fiegel. 39th, Matt McIntyre. And then 40th, all by his lonesome, is Chris Dollarton. Back up here at the front, however, side by side for the lead between Shelley and Young, as Dylan Young takes the lead back. But now look at the run the 87 of Jay Jefferson's getting on the bottom, coming off of turn 2, getting ready to go into turn 3. Can he make the move stick? Although Shelley dives it in very low. Contact. Little bit of contact between the 71 and the 87. And that helped for Shelley to get a huge run to try and get on the bottom to get around the 2 of Dylan Young. As the top 3 are putting on quite a show for the fans right now, as it's a three-car fight for the race lead. But I got a feeling that here in about a lap or so, these guys are going to have to come into pit road again, and then we'll see if guys like Dylan Jacobs, Michael Norman and company are going to stretch it out to the end of the race, or are they going to have to pit before the white flag? I don't know. It's going to be very, very close, to say the very least. Right now, this 3-car fight for potentially the win is still ongoing, with Dylan Young holding off both James Shelley and Jay Jefferson. And then all the way back here now in 4th, all of a sudden Melissa Alexander has come alive here towards the end as she moves up to the 4th spot. Then you got Rafael Leduc 5th, and then Dylan Jacobs still running in the 6th position. And that was a quick rundown of the top 10 as it stands right now. As we're getting ready to get back onto the actual racetrack to get back onto the restrictor plate track portion of the Roval. And let's see if the 71 and the 87 can get a run on the 2 and try and make another run for the race lead. As we're getting ready to come off of the final corner, let's see what happens here. Oh no, they're coming into the pits again. Kind of expected this to happen. Let's see. Yep, Dylan Jacobs going to stay out. But Cody Lamas, who stayed out an extra lap earlier, he's coming in. Shelton and Norman stay out. Gardner stays out, but Charles Sanford also stays out. All of a sudden, Kyle Matthews, Anthony McCrory and company have all fallen to the back unless they pitted early too. I'm not entirely sure about that, but right now I assume it is Dylan Jacobs with the race lead. But again, you gotta wonder if he's going to be able to try and stay out long enough. I don't think so. I think he is going to have to pit this time by. But we'll see how things turn out for the 78, as well as the 02 and the 3, who have also stayed out. The 9 and the 03 have stayed out, so 5 cars stayed out throughout this run here. Rafael Leduc almost got into Anthony McCrory as he was coming out of the pits. So that could have been That could have been a major problem. But as I guess according to the pits, James Shelley came out third of that group of cars, and Dylan Young came out ahead. We'll see how everything cycles around here in just a little bit, as when we get to the line, it's going to be 2 laps to go here in the Tropicana Challenge. As I'm looking around, and Kyle Matthews actually was one who got out ahead of James Shelley, and then side by side between Melissa Alexander and Anthony McCrory. As let's get back up here to the leader, Dylan Jacobs. Let's see what he's going to do off the final corner. Is he going to stay out longer, or is he going to come in this time? He's running lower, so yep, he's coming in. So unfortunately his strategy doesn't quite work out for him. Norman, Shelton come in. What about Gardner and Sanford? They are coming in as well. But these guys, if they can get out quick enough, get out of the pits fast enough, perhaps they can make something happen. Looks like 2 left side tires for the 78. Let's see if he's going... Yep, only 2 tires, so maybe he has a shot to stay out stay out in front, but Dylan Young is coming in fast. It's going to be close, but I think the 2 is going to get the race lead back, and indeed he does. So Dylan Young has the race lead again. And then it's side by side for second between Kyle Matthews and Jay Jefferson. And it looks like the rest of the field is going to end up maybe swarming past the 78. I don't know. There's Shelley running about a good 25 miles per hour faster than the 78, but the 78 going to come back onto the racetrack and try and block. Not the smartest move, but perhaps it worked out in his favor, so looks like Dylan Jacobs will fall back to 4th. But Dylan Young right now has the race lead. Second is Kyle Matthews. Third is Jay Jefferson. 4th, Dylan Jacobs. 5th, James Shelley. 6th now is Emmanuel Hartnett. 7th, Anthony McCrory. 8th, Melissa Alexander. 9th, Raphael Leduc. 10th, Jessica Shelton. 11th, Michael Norman. 12th, James Qualls. 13th, Cody Lamas. 14th, Cole Deaver. 15th, Rob Evans. 16th, Zachary Fitzwater. 17th, Johnny Gardner. 18th, Jordan Forbes. 19th, Jake Baskinger. 20th, Jonathan Zorline. 21st is DJ Curtis. 22nd, Benjamin Miles. 23rd, looks like Carson Gum. 24th, Jake Rogers. 25th now, Bradley Zordrager. 26th, Charles Sanford. 27th, Logan Bradley. 28th is Joshua Collar. 29th, Caleb Kilburn. 30th, Cole Baker. 31st, Trent Dunham. 32nd, Dylan Poteet. 33rd is Seth Cole. 34th, Joshua Sekuli. 35th, James McLeod. 36th, Joey Parkhill. 37th, Phil Parker. 38th, Matt McIntyre. 39th, Tim Fiegel. And then 40th, Chris Dollerton. Back up at the front, it is still Dylan Young with the lead, but Kyle Matthews and Jay Jefferson are looking to try and reel in the 2 car, but they are a good ways away back from the 2. They're going to have to hope they can get up into a 2-car tandem and work together to get up to the back bumper of the 2. Otherwise, it's pretty much the 2's race now. As we're coming to the white flag is out here at the Pensacola Roval. A good 2.2 second lead for the 2 car over the 42, and then 3.1 over the 87. Side by side for the 4th position now between James Shelley and Emmanuel Hartnett, is now there's a battle going on for the 6th position among 4 cars with Leduc, Jacobs, McCrory, and Alexander. going into turn 3 here. Then there's a potential battle for second that could happen between the 42 and the 87, as the 87 and the 2 have pretty much been top 3 all race long. Although James Shelley, who was another one of those people in the top 3, pretty much all day long, fell back to right now the 5th position, so there went any shot of James Shelley going 2 seasons in a row of winning the Pensacola Roval. While Dylan Young still has a pretty sizable race lead, yeah, I kind of saw the 42 kind of start to get a bit of a gap going to get to the 2. Looks like side by side for, I believe that is the 8th position between Dylan Jacobs and Melissa Alexander, and it looks like Jacobs is going to be able to hold off that 6 car as we're getting ready to go through the final corners to conclude the Tropicana Challenge, our first road course event of the season, and what was quite a unique race. Almost every lap, except for maybe a couple, we had a new leader each time, whether it was through passing or pit strategy. As we're coming off of the final corner, checkered flag is waving. First time win this season. Dylan Young wins at his home state, wins the Pensacola Roval race, the Tropicana Challenge here at Pensacola. Great job for the 2 of Dylan Young. Gets his first win of the season, and also in his home, well, not really his home state, but his current home state. Even though I know he's a Chicago native, but he lives in Florida, so he gets a win in his current home state right now. Just to fix on that, but congratulations to Dylan Young nonetheless. But let's look at the rest of the results. Kyle Matthews came out of nowhere towards the end and got a strong run in the 2nd spot. Jay Jefferson, who was pretty much top 3 all day long, finishing in 3rd. Emmanuel Hartnett with a great run in the 4th position, and then James Shelley was close to winning 2 seasons in a row here at the Pensacola Roval, but gets a top 5 finish in 5th. Rafael LeDuc with a great run in the 6th position. 7th going to Anthony McCreary. Great run in 8th for Dylan Jacobs. 9th, great run for Melissa Alexander. And then 10th, Michael Norman. Then there's the rest of your top 20, top 30. And then the bottom 5 this week were Matt McIntyre, Joey Parkhill, Joshua Sekuli, Tim Fiegel, and Chris Dollarton. So that does it for our coverage here today at the Pensacola Roval, as next time we head to California for the Auto Club 400. But until then, here are your results, rookie points and regular points heading into California. And this is Levi McIntyre signing off.